No, no, babe, I can tell you've been putting the work in. For real, yeah. No, your gritty is getting way better. It's better. I'm being honest. You can believe me. Why would I lie to you, right? The thing is just time and place, okay? There's a time and place for these things. Last week, when we were in my sister's delivery room and you were hitting the gritty, it wasn't the time nor the place, okay? And you know what? It would have been good if you were in the corner just doing it by yourself, but you were trying to like pull attention from the doctors. You were saying, what were you saying again? You were saying, oh, that's the miracle of life, but I got a whole miracle of my own over here. And it was distracting. She was having like complications because of it. You were a problem. So I support you. I can tell, even, my family, as much as they hate you, they've been telling me, hey, his gritty's getting really tight. And I know it has. You got a tight gritty. It's good. You've been putting the work in. But time and place, babe. Time and place. That's a new character I'm working on. It's a girlfriend with boyfriend that gritties at inappropriate times. What do you think? A couple years ago, I hosted a Friendsgiving. I co-hosted it. It was me and a friend. And when we were preparing for the Friendsgiving, we'd have to do cooking. That's part of it. And he dropped a knife. And neither of us went for it. He didn't go for it because he's smart, but I didn't go for it because I just don't have that reaction time. Actually, embarrassingly, I went for it late. It dropped about 2 seconds later. I was like, whew. Tried to play it off. I was like, there was a fly here, right? Did you see that? Oh, fast fly. Almost had it. If it comes back around here, I'll get it though. And I remember he instilled in me some wisdom that day. He said, oh, that was good. Neither of us reached for the knife when it was falling. He said, there's a saying in the cooking world, a falling knife has no handle. And I was like, oh, wow, that's very profound. Yeah, falling knife has no handle. The reason for that saying, right, the explanation is if a knife is falling, you have to treat it as if it has no handle. You let it fall. Because you run the risk, right, if you reach out with your hand, of grabbing the knife and slicing your hand open. So they say a falling knife has no handle. And for some reason, earlier this week, I thought about that. I don't know why, but I was reminded of Friendsgiving and him telling me that. And I was like, oh yeah, being the asshole I am, I'm surprised I didn't say, well, no, it still has a handle. And I was like, wait a minute. Some people would say that, wouldn't they? Like if someone, dropped a knife and then you were like, a falling knife has no handle. Some people would be like, no, it still does. You're just not supposed to go for it. And I'm like, yeah, no, yes, you are technically correct. Thank you for that. But that's not the point of this saying. The point is don't go for the knife. And I was like, oh, this kind of applies to real life too, right? Like some people, they're in a bad situation and then, they should just let the situation go. But for some reason, they still love to point out, well, no, it does have a handle. It's like, no, I know it has a handle, but you need to let it go. But then they take it a step too far and they're like, well, no, it does have a handle, which means there's a chance. There's hope. As long as there's a handle, I'm going to go for it. And it's like, no, 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 you have to treat it like a knife. It's going to hurt you. And so obviously there's that parallel. And I thought about it this week. I was like, oh, that's the perfect analogy. Sure, it applies to cooks, but it also applies to other things in life. You got to know when to quit. Because sure, is it technically possible that you could save something, salvage the situation? Yeah. But most of the time, it's not worth it. The cost of getting hurt is too high for that reach to be worth it. And so, yeah, I've extended this metaphor, this analogy, whatever this thing is, to go even beyond the kitchen, They cooked, but so did I. I thought about other uses that you can use a knife for, a falling knife, which again has no handle. But get a grip, huh? Isn't that funny? When someone needs to not reach for the falling knife, you tell them get a grip, and they're like, all right, I'll get a grip, and they reach for the handle. I'm like, no, 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 that's not what I meant. You gotta let it go. They're like, well, you just told me to get a grip, and I was trying to. And I'm like, I guess, yeah. I guess I didn't completely shut it down, and that's why you still went for it. And yeah, the easy parallel here is to draw to relationships, right? You see someone in a relationship, they list out all the reasons it's bad, and you're like, oh, okay, so what are you going to do now? They're like, oh, no, I'm going to feel it out. I'm like, really? That's what we're going to go with? No, cool. Yeah, that's fine. What do you even do in that situation? I've had friends like this. I'm not going to say I have any right now, but they're in a relationship where I'm like, that's not good. And they like, know it's not good. So then you just kind of like gentle parent them. And they're like, yeah, this is bad, isn't it? I'm like, I'm not going to say yes or no, but yeah. And they're like, yeah, I should probably break up with them. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to say you should, but seems like you got the answer, right? I'm not going to tell you what to put down on the paper, but I mean, if it's right, it's right, right? I'm actually agreeing with you. It's just, do you have the courage to fill in the bubble on the Scantron, right? Can you pick the right answer? But no, you pick A with your whole heart when it was clearly C. And some people do it for the D. Oh man, he's good. He's good. This guy gets it. And something else I get is the importance of TikTok edits. This is something I talked about months ago. Remember I talked about my obsession with TikTok sports edits? You know, like Stephen Curry, LeBron, Kevin Durant, how they've like aged through the years, and then people put these emotional music over it, and it like shows the current them, and then they're like, ooh, it fades, and then it's their old jersey, and you're like, oh my god, wow, this is so amazing. I remember when I told you guys about that, the reason I even brought it up in this podcast is because in real life, a friend of mine, I was telling him about this, and then he was like, I don't get that. Are you telling me that people actually like watch those with sincerity, and you're one of those people, Gauruv? And I was like, well, no, I don't like the way you phrased that question. It seems like you're not chill with them. He's like, I'm not gonna tell you the right answer, but it seems like you have it. I was like, oh, how the tables have turned. Oh no. Now I have to come to terms with it, don't I? But he was like very against it. He was like, yeah, I'm not gonna knock you, but I don't get it. Which is like the same thing as like, no offense, but it's like, no, it's okay, but no, it's not. Well, I just had dinner with him recently, and it was funny. At the end of the dinner, he was like, Gauruv, you know those sports edits you were talking about? I was like, yeah. I already knew where it was going. You ever have that? Your friends like start to tell you something, and you're like, no, go ahead. Tell me I'm right. I was waiting for this. It's like when that friend finally tells you they broke up with them. I'm like, no, go ahead. Give me the good news. Give me that sweet release of knowing that now I can talk shit with no restrictions. It's fucking free game out here. Because, sometimes you can't talk shit about someone's partner because it's really a reflection on them. Sometimes I feel that way. If there's someone in a relationship I don't agree with, I'm like, well, I can't trash their partner too much. Because at the end of the day, this person did pick them. So there's something I could point out about their partner that is actually more about them, my friend, than their partner. So I got to be careful with what I say. But once I've broken up with them, and, you kind of go past the grace period, because you can't do it too fresh, because they'll be like, all right, easy. It's still fresh. Don't pour salt in it too quick. It's got to kind of start to scab before you do that. But you can right? Kind of opens up a little bit, and you're like, yeah, that person fucking sucked. Did you see the way they were making fun of that person? Fuck them. They suck, yeah. I don't know. My friend was like, Garv, I had some of those sports edits come up. I was like, mm-hmm. And thoughts? They're like, no, I saw a couple Stephen Curry ones, and I get it. I get it now. I'm not going to say I like them, but and he tried to do that thing, where you try to like justify your actions by giving it like a different reason. He couldn't just say, oh, I liked them. He told me, well, no, I just like that they remind me of like songs I haven't heard in a while. He was like, a lot of the music they use, it's from like the early 2010s. And so it's just a nice reminder of those songs. I'm like, just say you like them. He's like, it's not that I like them. I like a part of them. I'm like, you like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward? And you just can't fucking admit it. I don't know what it is. But he's coming around to it. I can see. It's one of those things where I'm like, give him 3 months. Don't push him too hard, right? Like I was going to send him one after I got home from that dinner. I'm like, no, I got to let this breathe. You can't suffocate him, because then he'll be like, oh, actually, no, I don't want this. I'm kind of the same way. I think I've talked about this on here. If someone ever recommends me something, I'm not going to do it for at least a few months. Like if I eventually get around to doing it, that's fine. But there's like a grace period between a recommendation and me doing something. Because I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. Actually, there's nothing wrong with me. Okay? I'm perfect. But if someone's like, you should watch Game of Thrones, I'm not going to watch it. I wasn't already going to watch it, but your recommendation has now added 6 months to me potentially watching it. So, let me do the quick math. Given how many times I've been recommended watching Game of Thrones, I will be on track to watch it in 2072. So, right around the corner. But every single recommendation, yes, it adds 3 to 6 months, depending on who it is, right? Because the worry for me, right, if someone recommends me a show, and then the next week I watch it, and I'm like, oh, I watched that show, and they're like, oh yeah, you should take my recommendations more often. I'm like, don't. Okay, I don't. Now I see what your partner sees in you because they fucking suck ass. And reflection, they're holding up a mirror, bud, because you fucking suck too. Don't say that. Don't take credit for my leisure. Okay. Oh, you like that show? And who recommended you that show? Hey, I'm going to push you in traffic next time. How about that? I'm going to let you take the inside part of the sidewalk, to be noble, to be like, oh, you're protecting me from the street. But then I'm just going to do that to establish outside positioning. Well, push you in, all right? Fuck you, man. Don't say that shit. Who recommended you to watch it? Family Guy has been around for a while, okay? You telling me to revisit it isn't interesting. It wasn't because of you that I went and did that, okay? I just wanted to see what Stewie was up to. What's that little guy getting up to? His hijinks and whatnot, and his pal Brian, and what's his teddy bear's name? Rupert. I just want to see what the gang was up to. Okay, it had nothing to do with you, so don't take credit. But I didn't want to run that risk with my friend. I didn't want to send him like a reel or a TikTok of a sports edit, and him being like, okay, that's enough. You're smothering me. I need some space. Okay. I'm letting him find it out on his own, right? Sometimes parents do that, right? They find out you like something. They're like, I bought you a bunch of shit with that in it. I remember, it's funny because it's true, so I'm wrong. But I remember mentioning one time to my mom, I was like, I like elephants. And then she bought me like a painting of an elephant for my college apartment. And she was like, you love elephants, right? I'm like, well, I think I was in more denial. Because I do like elephants. I would say they're like one of my favorite animals for sure. But I don't like to admit my favorite of stuff because then it gives people an easy like, oh, I understand you. I know your favorite this, and that. So now I understand you as a person. I'm like, you don't get that kind of access. With that know-how? No. You don't get the fucking backstage pass just because you know my favorite color. What's your favorite color, Garv? I'm not going to tell you. Wouldn't you like to know? Weather boy. Back off. But it's true, I do actually like elephants. I think I was just in denial that, my mom. Yeah, we've known each other a while, but 20 years into our relationship, I was like, no, she doesn't get this amount of clearance into my life. No, I'm gonna act mysterious, and dark and brooding, and be like, no, I mean, elephants are cool. I wouldn't say I fuck with them that much, I like what they're about. But I do actually like elephants. But I don't like having things that like show who I am. Like I remember, right? I was thinking about getting some paintings and stuff. Like even back here, you see this? It's like robots in a donut shop. I know I've been open about my love for donut shops on this podcast, but I remember there was an idea. Some people were like, oh, you should put up stuff with a like guitar. Maybe even put up a guitar back there. Because I play guitar. I've played since kindergarten. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Some people were like, oh, put up some pictures or paintings of like sneakers because I like shoes. But I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't like having stuff that like reveals stuff about me. Like this is something I don't even realize is insane, but people have let me know. I don't have any like pictures of anyone, even myself, in my place. Some people are like, you should like personalize this place up. Here, put a picture of, what was that picture? You have that great picture of us in like Tahoe, right? You should put that up somewhere. I don't want to. This is like my place. I don't want to be walking around and I see a friend of mine. I'm like, don't. I was supposed to be alone today. Okay, this is going to be a solo day. But now you're just you're smiling. That's weird. Probably said something funny, didn't I? But I have my own issues. Okay, but one issue I don't have is knowing when something's good. And those sports edits, I fucking called it. He just had to come around. But I let him breathe, right? I don't want to be like, oh, here's like a bunch of things. You love this, right? Here's this. Sometimes you see that in relationships, right? People just buy their partner like their favorite color stuff. Oh, your favorite color is purple. I got you a purple stuffed animal. I got you Nerds, but just the purple flavor. And I got you those tropical Skittles, but I took out all the colors that weren't purple. So I'm still not going to say I love you, but this is some effort I will go out of my way to do. I'm just not emotionally available, so I'm not going to say those 3 words in quick succession, but I'll do these things. Yeah, that's reasonable. What's not reasonable is In September, I don't talk about it much here, but my work, they're forcing us, sorry, they're encouraging us with no other option to return back on site starting in September. You got to come in 4 days a week. And I usually come in maybe like 2 days a week right now. But this past week I was in the office. I noticed there were a few more people around. And I walked by some cubicles. I noticed on the ground there were two pairs of Adidas slides. And I was like, what are those doing there? And I kept walking, and then I saw that the wearer was revealed because I saw these two legs, and they were barefoot, and they were rubbing up against each other. I was like, oh. I was like, I already wasn't really looking forward to going back on site, but I'm like, this just reminded me how weird things are going to get. This man was raw dog in a cubicle. The dogs were out. Who let the dogs out? That gentleman. You ever see, I don't know why, I guess I've never seen this in my life. There's something very jarring about seeing cargo shorts and a polo and bare feet all in one package. I don't know what it is. It like makes my skin crawl. I've never talked about this on here. I fucking don't like feet. Like, people have a weird thing for feet. I have whatever the opposite of that is. Like Quentin Tarantino. Dude loves that shit, right? I'm like the opposite of Quentin Tarantino, whatever you would call that. Squintin Tarantino. Because every time I see them, I squint. I'm like, oh, I don't want to see that. I kind of cringe. I recoil. I'm like, I don't want to see that. No one's feet. I don't fuck with feet. I think feet are the weirdest thing ever. Anytime people are wearing sandals, I'm up here with my eyes. With my gaze, I'm all the way up here. I don't want to see that. In the summer, I have really good posture because I'm always just... In the winter, I'm kind of, a little more down with it. But in the summer, I'm like, yep, I'm going to be way up here with it because I don't like what's going on down there. And I saw on the second floor of this corporate building, they stuck out amidst that gray backdrop. I saw these 10 piglets just, ooh, and they was doing that thing, people do. You ever see I feel like it's always like moms in movies. They're always sitting on the couch, they're like legs are on the side, like that. They were sitting in that weird position. And they like rub their feet together. He was doing that. I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't know what impact this is going to have on my work, but I think it's made it worse. I don't think I can go sit at my cubicle and then be like, yeah, I can be productive now. Yeah, it would sit with me for like an hour. I would have to walk it off. And then I would be reminded of it because I'm like, wait, what am I walking on? My feet. Oh no, feet. Now I'm thinking about them again. Someone did ask me one time. I revealed to someone, I was like, I don't really fuck with feet. They're like, what about your own? I'm like, mine are great. No, yeah, me and my boys, we can chill all we want. That's cool. But like other people's feet, I don't like that. Anyhow. I thought of a new bit. What do you think of this bit? I was gonna whip it out at dinner the other day with this friend I was talking about, but I'm like, I don't have the confidence to do this bit. I don't think I'll ever do this bit, but I want to just give it to you, and if you do it, that's good for you. Here's what you do. You show up to dinner. This is a new bit I've been thinking about. You show up to dinner. You tell your friend very sincerely, hey, I've been working on portrait drawings recently. Is it cool if I would draw you? And they're your friend, so they're going to say yes. And then you do this. You bring Post-it notes with you. You put it down. You also bring a pen. And you sit there very sincerely for about 5-10 seconds. And you keep looking up and down, and returning to the drawing. And you put your pen down. You evaluate the drawing, and you say, all right, I think I pretty much nailed it. What do you think? And you hold this up. Oh, there we go. And it's just the most normal stick figure. Doesn't even have a face. It's a faceless stick figure. What do you think about that as a bit? Is that a good bit? Let me know. The problem is I can't do that because that sincere 10 seconds when you're like sitting there pretending to draw them, I feel like the level of discomfort your friend would feel would be too high and I couldn't do it. I'm not an empath, but that would feel fucking terrible. Knowing that your friend, for these 10 seconds, that's a lot of seconds, by the way. Do the Mississippis if you want. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. You know the rest, right? You know the song. I'm not good with lyrics, but I know that one. those 10 seconds would be unbearable for me because I know that the only thing going through their head would be like, oh, I hope it's good. He seems like he really cares about this. Oh no. And that tension that you're building, I know that that's what jokes are. It's like building tension and then releasing it. I just don't think that tension is palatable. I really don't think I could do it to myself. Because, yeah, I don't even think the punchline is a big enough boom to justify the tension. But if you are interested in doing that bit, I give you the, what is it? The IP, intellectual property. I give you the rights to it temporarily. I own it fully, but it's cool if you want to like commission that for an outing. Well, try it out and let me know how it goes. Because I'm curious. I'm not brave enough or bold enough to attempt it on my own. So that's why I'm going to send one of you out to do it. So let me know. How does that go? It has to get a laugh, right? It's funny. It's funny too. Ruining girls' days. I saw this online. Someone said, I'm going to ruin a girl's day by, what is it, swiping right on a dating profile. Because he's going to be like, oh, that, carries the assumption that that guy is basically being like, no, yeah, we're in the same league. I was like, right? The natural next step is, what are other ways you can ruin girls' days, right? That's simply. And I was like, oh, there's a classic. You tell a girl, like, oh my God, you're starting to look so much like your dad. I feel like that would ruin, if I was a girl, that would ruin my day. For a week. That would ruin my day as a guy for a week. I remember I went to a friend's like going away thing, and his mom, I hadn't seen her in a while. And she was like, oh, Gauruv, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. And she's like, you're starting to look so much like your dad. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm sorry, did I say something to you? What have you heard? I didn't know you were going to attack me like that. But no, it's just, anytime people see you, I got a beard, and they're like, oh, you look like your dad, and that's all it takes really for a brown guy. They're like, oh, you got, yeah, you have slightly long hair and you got a beard. You're a spitting image. That's all it really takes, doesn't it? It doesn't take much in today's world. I've noticed that. You ever go online and you see like, oh, this is definitely a problem, but I feel like no one's addressing it, right? People always have those premonitions. I don't know what that word means, but people always see people online. They're like, I have a bad feeling about this person. And they're like, I don't know what it is yet, but I know one day I'll be proven right. There'll be justice. I'll have a bad feeling about a celebrity, and then they'll come out and do something weird, like make a cookbook after having no history of cooking. And then that'll be a scandal. I'll put it forward as a scandal because fuck them. But yeah, people see stuff online and they don't say anything, but you're like, that's wrong, right? I have my own thing. I have my own beef. It's with automated captions. I don't know what, like, did we all just agree that this is okay? A lot of vertical content, like vertical videos, they have the captions just popping on the screen, right? Maybe they pop up 3 words and then each time one is said, it like goes over it in yellow or whatever. There's so many different styles of vertical video content on the internet. And most of the time, the words are out of sync. And a lot of times, the words are wrong. Like it's, someone will say, oh, I'm going to go pee. And the captions will say, I'm going to Paris. And it's like, what, how did you get that? And it's like, oh, right, I'm going to Paris. Sounds like I'm going to pee. So you know what? That's actually, I understand that. Didn't know the captioning system was French, but I don't get why we're just all okay with it. It's like very clearly bad, but it's like, it's fine. And that honestly radicalized me. When I saw how shitty the captioning on social media was, I was like, oh, no one gives a fuck. I gave myself permission to make like worse videos. After all these vertical videos went public, they probably have some responsibility for me returning to this podcast because I was like, oh, no one cares about quality. I can make things again. But do you see that? It feels so obvious, but no, it doesn't matter because it's doing its job. Captions are just there in case you didn't hear something they said. You'd be like, oh shit, wait, what did they say for sure? Oh, they did say Paris, but they pronounced it Paris. So I don't know why that's weird. It's just kind of there as a tool, but it's still weird to me That like it is that bad, right? I feel like it's an unspoken thing. And you might be like, well, Garb, don't you have like a bunch of vertical videos? You post one every weekday at 5 p.m. Thank you for noticing. Across YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. But I do those all manually. I don't know if you know that. All those vertical videos you see of me with the captions, I edit all of those. Each vertical video takes about 30 minutes for me to make. Now you might be thinking, God, that's fucking stupid. Just use one of the tools, and I should. But it wouldn't make me feel good. I genuinely need to manually edit them, or I probably will start hating myself even more, you know? So I gotta do that, or else how do I look at myself in the mirror? But other people don't have a fucking issue. I see these captions, and it's just the worst thing ever. It's like way behind or it's way ahead. I'm like, what are we doing? It's like when Netflix gets like desynced captions, and the captions come on like a scene after they're said. I'm like, well, this isn't helpful at all now. Or maybe they're early, and you're like, oh, well, that's a spoiler. Because you see the little, you ever see on a caption, they have a word that's like cut off with a hyphen. You're like, oh, someone's about to get shot. Someone's about to die. This is either going to be comedic or tragic. Maybe both. There's a Venn diagram that exists for that. But I wonder, is this kind of a microcosm of many things? That we forego quality just to produce the thing? Well, yeah, Garv, that's why we listen to your podcast. Easy with that. All right? That's enough. No. I'm serious. If I let you gritty in the delivery room, I think you should cut me some grace. Cut me some slack. Show me some grace. Amazing grace. Because I've been so accommodating for your gritty, and it's honestly enough. Returning back to that character. You remember the character at the... Yeah, pretty good, right? Getting layers now. There's layers to this character. I do a lot of... What do you call it? Method work? Yeah. No, I act like a likable person. And I think it's starting to catch on. I think people don't know I'm in character yet. I think they just think I'm a likable person. Yeah. All according to my plan, huh? But I seriously don't get, is this the accepted norm now? I think as AI becomes more mainstream, right, we'll see this more. We'll see a compromise where people forgo quality to get a thing done because things are being produced at such a high rate that we lose some of the quality control. And so if people are making art with AI, well, art's not going to be as quality because we need to make it fast because that's what sells, right? Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit? Who gives a fucking shit, man? I don't know. Whatever. But that is a thing, right? I think it's a trend we're seeing. Like, people just don't give a shit anymore. But that's why it's so noble to now give a shit. And that's why I should return to them. I should try to save that relationship. I'm going to grab the handle. No, don't do it. Don't do it, friend. I tried to warn him. I was on the right side of history, but sometimes it doesn't even matter. If you vote for the right thing, evil may still win. And they'll get back with their ex. Nothing I can do. The only thing I can do is my podcast. And beg and ask and plead for your likes and your comments. Can you please do that for me? Here, you know what? We'll do a little quid pro quo, huh? We each give each other something. I hope I use that right. I'll give you song recommendations. It's seeming like this is going to now be a weekly thing. I think I said that last week, but I think this confirms it. I got 3 for you this time. That's right. Usually I'm doing 1, 2, but no, we're doing 3 this time. Cherry Wine by Grant Perez. Give it a listen, huh? Head Start by Cowboy Malfoy. Now, I've recommended a Cowboy Malfoy song before, so please don't rake me over the coals for that one. This is almost embarrassing as being an outfit repeater. Recommending a song from the same artist twice. People will be like, don't you have anything else? I'm like, well, yeah, I do. I like this. So that's why. I'm sorry, I just won't leave the house then. That's my bad. But no, I'm a proud outfit repeater. I think you should be too. I don't think it's an ignoble thing. I think it's a very noble thing to say this is what I have, and guess what, world? Here it is. Wow. Huh. I guess he is willing to fight the good fight. And the last song I'd like to recommend is Meet You Again by Ebony Loren and Jason Lapierre. That's right. I would listen to them if you're going to listen to all these three. Listen to them in that order. I feel like it's nice. Also, the Head Start by Cowboy Malfoy song, it is very reminiscent of Rex Orange County. So if you love him, you're going to love that song. But these are all, it's about the same vibe with these three songs. Kind of chill, kind of light. And it's kind of the vibe of this podcast, isn't it? Just chill, just light. Some light, some chill. Light, calm drip, type shit. I think this was no more than $15, and I think it's fake. It's I got it off Amazon like a year ago, 2 years ago actually. I got it a week before that Friendsgiving actually. Now that I'm remembering it. Anywho, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, your support means the world to me. Try out those bits because I want to see. Yeah, do they test well? Are they field tested? Do they have success? Let me know. I don't even know if you can see it from there. But yeah, give this, if you need a reference again, by the way, this is the material you need to prepare. I'll kind of hold it here for a second just so you can know. Yeah. Go ahead to pause if you want it. Ayo. But no, try out that bit. All right. Try out that bit for a bit and let me know if it hits, and I'll talk to you next week. Okay. Bye.